Hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm so excited to be here today for a very special edition of the Coach Howard Show. It's going to be a great show today, and I'm excited. My partner in crime, my guy, Jimmy Bell, is not going to be here with us today. He's coming back home from, um, I believe it's Jamaica or Puerto Rico, one of those places over there. And something happened with his plane today. You know how sometimes those planes they get uh, one way and it's supposed to come another way, and then they get stranded or whatever it is. I don't like to fly, even though I've flown 100 times. I don't like to, but uh, I don't think he's coming on with us today. But it's going to be a great show today, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about my guests coming on. I want to tell you who I have coming on today for the show today. Coming on the show today is Coach Rob Senderoff from Kent State. Been knowing Coach Senderoff for a long time. Finished second in the MAC last year. Um, does a great job at Kent State. Very successful program. And we'll talk to him about last year, this upcoming season, talk about his team and what he expects and what you can expect to see from a Kent State team this year. We've also got Coach Greg Gard, the head coach of Wisconsin University. Um, year in and year out, Wisconsin is a very good program. And when I was at All Ohio, we had several players go play at the University of Wisconsin and be successful and go on to have successful careers, um, whether it be in the NBA or overseas. So I'm looking forward to talking to him, talking about last year with Wisconsin, talking about this year, what we can look forward to see in a Wisconsin team, and talk about the team and some of the players that you'll see on a regular basis on the Big Ten in the Big Ten this year. We'll also have my guy, Coach Wes Miller, down in Cincinnati. Second year in the program, coming in, turning his program around. Great recruiting class. Has another good recruiting class coming in next year. Doing great things down there in Cincinnati. I'm excited to talk with him too. We'll talk about last year. We'll talk about this year. We'll talk about what you, the fans, can expect to see from the University of Cincinnati this year. Matter of fact, I've got a son that goes there, so he's excited about this upcoming year as well. And then we've got Coach Chris Holtmann from The Ohio State University. And we'll talk about the Buckeyes. We'll talk about the struggles last year. We'll talk about what the Buckeyes went through last year. We'll talk about this year, the new players that are coming in. We'll talk about the freshmen. And we'll talk about what you people can look forward to seeing in the Ohio State Buckeyes this year. Um, I think they're going to be much better. I think that they've got some really good young talent, and I'm excited to go see the Buckeyes play. First game is tomorrow night against Oakland University. Oakland University is a pretty good um, college that has pretty good teams year in and year out. And then Friday night they've got the big game, which I'll be there. That's against Texas A&M right here in Central Ohio. And then to top it off tonight, we're supposed to have Coach Bobby Huggins, but I know he's had some technical difficulties. So we'll find out if he's going to come on or not. But what a great show that we're going to have tonight. And I'm excited. In 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, I will have my high school preseason high school Central Ohio high school basketball show, and I'll have on several coaches here from Central Ohio. I'm going to have a part one and a part two because I want to try to get on as many as I can. It's going to be a very interesting year in high school basketball here in Central Ohio and throughout the state. And I'll have some coaches throughout the state to talk about their teams and what we can look for in high school basketball this year. Central Ohio is a little puzzling to me because you don't have any dominant teams. You've got good teams, but no dominant teams. And I think your dominant teams comes from up in Cleveland this year. You know, sometime it rotates, and I think Cleveland this year is special down there. They've got some really good teams, starting with Richmond Heights. Um, They're ranked, I think, 23rd or 24th in the country, and they'll be down here to kick off their high school season um, December 2nd at Reynoldsburg High School in the All Ohio Showcase against Reynoldsburg. So it's going to be uh, coming up here before you know it. High school basketball is 1 month away. I'm excited about it. I know you're excited about it. I know the college coaches are excited about it. But real quick, did you get a chance to watch any high school football games this past weekend? It was crazy. And I've got to mention this one game because I sat there watching this game and I saw a catch that wasn't a catch. And I'm going to tell you what bothered me. What bothered me the most was the referee that was standing there. This was Pick Central in Upper Arlington. The referee was standing there. He called it incomplete. Incomplete. Another referee runs over and calls it a catch. They talk about it and they call it a catch. It blatantly was not a catch. The guy never had control of the ball. He dropped the ball when it hit the ground. And if you look at the film and you look at the photos, you can see that it was not a catch. And I hate to say it, as well a good game as Upper Arlington played. I think Pick Central, they got robbed. And to me, what do you think when you see something like that? Because they can't go back and look at it because there's no replays. Because if there had been a replay, then they would have never got that touchdown. So you got three reps coming together, making a decision: did he catch the ball or not? But the guy standing there that knew he didn't catch the ball should have argued that point and should have honestly said he did not catch the ball because he was right there. Um, when you have two teams come out, they went to three overtimes and play as hard as those teams did, to take it from a group of kids like that, it's just not acceptable. It's not the way that a team should lose a game when it's blatantly. I mean, everybody that was watching TV, watching that game, the next day it was all over social media. Today it was all over social media. And you could see that he did not catch that ball. I think OSHA or somebody owes Pickerington Central an apology. At least stand up and admit they made a mistake. You can't go back and change it now. What's done has been done. But admit and apologize to Coach LaMonaco and Pickerington Central that you guys made a mistake. And they got robbed of that game. They should have won that game. But even though they caught that touchdown pass, Pick Central had an opportunity to win that game. You get the ball and you've got three downs to go within the 5-yard line, and you've got fourth and goal right there at the 1 or the half-yard line, and you don't score. You should have, you got them big hogs up front, and you can't push people off the line a half yard and score a touchdown. That's a problem to me. So they could have won that game, but they didn't. But anyway, so high school football is down to the regional semis now, all over the state. I know I have a coach coming on pretty soon, but my guy Kevin will let me know when they're coming. In Central Ohio, you've got two really good games. You've got Gahanna Lincoln. They play Grove City. I can't remember the site. Upper Arlington. They don't have the site, but that's going to be a good game. But I look for Gahanna to win that game and move on to the regional final, where they will go and they will play the winner of Hilliard Bradley and Pickerington North. This is going to be a tough game because Bradley's a good team as well. A number 2 seed against a number 3 seed. It's going to be a tough game, but I'm going to pick North to win this game. And I think for the regional final next Friday night, a rematch of the last regular season game, I think it's going to be Pick Central and Hillier Bradley. I mean, Pick Central and Gahanna. Um, so I'm going to take a break and we'll come right back. And I'm so excited. My next guest is going to be Coach Chris Holtmann from the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I'll be right back in 1 minute. Well, I'm back and I'm excited about my next guest. Somebody that I have a lot of respect for and admire very much. I've known for quite some time, his Butler days. He's come in and he's building something special here at Ohio State University. Coach Holtmann, how you doing? Where you at?
I'm good,
There he is,
George.
my man.
Good to be with you. Good to be with you, man.
Hey,
Always
you
good to be
know,
with you.
you never turn me down. You never turn me down. I know you're the one guy I can count on. I appreciate that very much. How you been?
Good, George. Been good. Yeah, we just finished prep for tomorrow's game against a good opponent, a good Oakland team, and yeah, we're just we're ready to get started. You know how it is, George. It's such a long preseason that guys are they're ready to play somebody else. They're ready to you know to get out and compete for the real thing.
Coach, before we get into, last year you went 16 and 19 overall. But the good thing about it, what a lot of people probably really don't understand, is that you guys won 5 of your last 7 games and you made it to the semis of the Big Ten tournament. What happened in that last stretch of the season with that team to and you guys could have went further to make them start seeing, hey, this is not as hard as we've made it for ourselves.
Well, I think some of it was youth. I think some of it was just when you're playing four freshmen as much as we were playing four freshmen, and you're not only you playing them, you're counting on them. Um, I think there's a learning curve that happens with that, and I think we started to find some things later in the year that we were doing well, and we really played well, even in the 2 games we lost at Michigan State on Senior Day and Purdue in the Big Ten semifinals. We played pretty well, so we were playing good basketball, even in um, a game or two leading up before we got on that stretch. But I think obviously, George, no one been here 6 years now. Really had not had a year like that in any way, and it was a difficult year for everybody. But it's a good thing to, I think, remember for those of us that went through it, and be reminded of some things that we can really pull from it to help us moving forward.
You know what I say, Coach, and not just yourself, and I've talked about it with Coach Diebler, and I think I've talked about it with you, but you guys brought in a great, well, what you thought was a really good class last year of players out the portal. When you guys are what goes in? Tell people out there real quick before I finish. What goes into it when you recruit out the portal? You watch film, you do your homework, and you do everything you're supposed to do. What goes into that?
Well, you said it. One, it's fit. It's how does this person, this player fit? And I think for us, we were balancing a little bit, George, like giving our sophomores, the guys that were freshmen last year, now sophomores, giving them room to grow. So you don't want to come in and have somebody that might be better than them right now, but may not be better in 6 or 8 months. So you want to give them a chance to grow. And then we knew when you lose a guy like Bryce to the NBA, you need scoring. So we needed scoring in Jamison Battle, um, and he provides that. And we needed just versatility in Evan Mahaffey, who's an Ohio kid, as you know, from Cincinnati. And then we needed backcourt depth and experience and speed in Dale Bonner, um, who came from Baylor. So I think all three of those guys are guys that are going to help this team and be able to impact us here moving forward.
You know, the reason I brought that up because when I was talking about last year, you guys brought in some players that you honestly really thought that were going to help you. And a lot of people don't understand if they really don't understand how this portal works. You know, it's like you go into the portal, you do your homework, you bring guys in that you think, hey, I love the way this guy is playing. You know, we've watched his film, we've seen him play. He can come in and he can help us right away. But and I'm not just basically talking about Ohio State. I'm talking about any program. You know, but then when they get there, they don't play up to the level that you and your coaching staff, you know, expected from them. And then that's kind of what you guys went through last year, in my opinion, that you really didn't get from your transfer and the guys out the portal that you thought. And even me being a basketball enthusiast, knowing the game what way I think I do, I thought they were going to give you quite a bit. Personally, to be
Yeah,
honest, I was excited.
yeah, I think some of it's just fit, and it just sometimes it just doesn't work. We've been fortunate that we've had some guys like a Keyshawn Woods that when we went to the NCAA tournament our second year, and we were, kind of rebuilding our roster at that point because we had lost Jay Sean Tate to graduation and Kada to graduation in the NBA and a couple other guys. So we were very young. It was really Keyshawn and the Wessons who helped carry us to an NCAA tournament berth and beating Iowa State in the second game. And then we've had other, or beating Iowa State in the tournament. We've had other guys that have really performed well um, in that role, but it can be tricky at times. You see that really all over the country, as you know, George.
Everywhere.
Some work, some don't, and every team experiences kind of a bit of a mixed bag on the ones that work and the ones that don't work, and sometimes just it's not a great fit. It's not the player's fault. It's just not a great fit.
I was looking at your schedule today because you guys have a pretty nice non-conference schedule to me. Monday you open up tomorrow night with Oakland. You turn back around on Friday and you got a big game of Texas A&M coming in on Friday night. I mean, your second game of the year, you're going up against Texas A&M.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
says a lot. Then you turn around and you play. I think they're a Division II team, Merrimack out of Minnesota. Am I correct?
No, so here, so we have. You're right. Oakland tomorrow. And Oakland's a really good. They're a good mid-major team. They've got some guys returning. They play a very unique
Uh huh.
style. Play Michigan State well. They're out of their horizon. Then we play Texas A&M, who's ranked 15th in the country, and then Merrimack is a Division I team that transitioned a few years ago. Ironically, they have the longest winning streak in Division I basketball right now. They've won 11 straight games. They just didn't qualify.
Wow.
They would have went to the NCAA tournament, but they didn't qualify because they're in
So
transition.
they just
They
turned. They just became Division I.
had been
Okay.
Division One
Okay.
for about 3 years, but there's a
Right.
period
Right.
there where you can't be in the tournament. They're a really good mid major. I think they got 11 game winning streak. So we have three, and they play a very unique zone. So tomorrow's opponent's
Did they
very
just
athletic. Go ahead.
did they just play Minnesota?
No, that was a different
Mir-
team. Different team.
Okay. Now I was going
Different
to
team.
talk about that guard on that team. He hit Minnesota for 30 something points, but and then you got Western Michigan November 19th. Then you've got Alabama. They're coming here, right, Coach?
Alabama is in a tournament in Destin, Florida.
Okay. Okay. And then you've got Central
Alabama,
Michigan.
Oregon, Santa Clara, and us.
Wow. Well, you're putting it together. But you've always done that, Coach. Though I mean, you always have a tough non-conference schedule to get your guys ready for the Big Ten. When's your first Big Ten game?
First Big Ten game. I don't have the exact date. It's usually mid. I think you know what I don't know the date. It's usually after Thanksgiving, early December. It's at Penn State to
Coach,
start.
let's talk about some of the guys that you have right now. Now, I don't know who your starters are, but this is when I was looking at the roster today. I said to me, this is who I think might be the starters, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Zed Key, Jamison Battle, Bruce Thornton, Roddy Gale, and Felix.
Yeah, so we probably will not. I don't know. We'll play our two big guys together. I don't know that we'll start them, but we played them. We played them in our last scrimmage together for long portions, and some of them went well, some of it didn't. So who knows who will start? Either Felix or Zed could start at the five.
And who would be in that other spot?
I mean, it could be any number of
McCaffrey or
guys. I
maybe
haven't
Dale?
decided on. Could be
Too
Dale at
early.
three guard line. It could be Evan Mahaffey. Could be it could be any number of guys.
So, do you use a game like tomorrow, even though of course, we want to win that game, but do you use a game like tomorrow and maybe, the month of November to really set, who that 8 or 9 or 10 might be? Is that kind of how it goes? Really look at guys and see how they're playing. Maybe Coach froze up on me. Coach, are you there? He might have froze up on me. He'll be back, I'm sure. But I don't know. That's kind of maybe how it goes. Um, Sometimes they use these games in the early part of the year to see who the players are that they want to give the most minutes to and who's going to be the starters. Because I know they've got Dale Bonner, who came over from Baylor uh, by way of Cleveland, I believe. And then they've got Mahaffrey um, out of Penn State, who played down at Moeller. So um, he'll be in too. So I think I'm trying to see what coaches text me. Um, but and then they've got Devin Royal, as a lot of you know, Mr. Basketball from last year out of Pickerington Central. Looks to get really good minutes. I think he's going to make an impact because of his style of game and the things that he brings. Scotty Middleton, another big time freshman. Um, Tazen Chapman, another really athletic. Let me tell Coach he just to come on back on. Um, and then, so, you know, Ohio State is going to be very, very interesting. Um, I don't know how the Buckeyes are going to be this year, but I think that the Buckeyes are going to be, I think they'll be pretty good. I guess we really won't know. We'll have an idea after maybe 4 or 5 games. Um, but when you look at last year at 16 and 19, there's a lot to build on from there. And I think with the coaching staff that they have and Coach Holtman, I think they're going to do a great job. And I think they'll have these young men really prepared for this season. My director said something went wrong. We lost coach somewhere along the line. He may be trying to get back in, and hopefully we can get him back at some point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for a second, and I'll be right back in the Coach Howard Show. I guess I'll be right back. Oh, Coach is back. All right. What happened, Coach?
I have no idea, man. I got pretty good Wi-Fi here. I have no idea what happened. Apologize.
Hey, it may not be you. It could be us, man. You never know what it is. But I was talking about, so I was asking a question. I said, do you kind of use November uh, to uh, and maybe the first 5 or 6 games to really see who comes out to really show that they can play in that 8 or 9 maybe rotation?
Yeah, you know how it is. I think you might go 9 or 10 this time of year, and then, but maybe not. We've got a couple injuries, so maybe not. But it's going to get trimmed to 8 or 9 guys that in a lot of cases, 8 that you really trust as you go into, January and February and March. So, I think, George, that's what all of us are doing right now, and it's the real thing tomorrow. So I think it's going to be about who's building trust and who's.
I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I can't tell you guys. I apologize. I don't know what's going on. This isn't something that we're used to doing. Having technical difficulties like this, I don't have no idea. But right now, I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. I guess we're going to. Okay, I'm sending this out to. We're having some technical difficulties, and I am trying to get them right here. It's not me, folks. It's okay. We're back. Did Coach Holtman come back in, Kevin? So I'm not sure if he came back in. I'm gonna tell him to try again. Um, but it is probably okay. So I don't know what happened. Maybe he had some technical difficulties somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure. So we are going to bring in the next guest um, and get Coach Holtman to see if he can come back in. Send Coach Holtman an email to see if he can come back in on about, let me see, Kevin. See if we can get him back in around 8 something. But anyway, we're going to move on. I think I've got Coach Guard here from Wisconsin. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. We was having some technical difficulties. It happens sometime, I guess, in this business. You know, we're not ESPN, so sometimes we have a few mistakes along the way. I didn't get to finish talking to my guy, Coach Holtman. So, but I'll get him back on the show. He's been on many a times. But how you been? Getting prepared for your season?
Yeah, good. We kick it off tomorrow night, so ready to go.
And who you open up with tomorrow night?
We have Arkansas State tomorrow here at home.
Oh, okay, okay,
So,
okay, okay, okay. And I know you've done your scouting report. What problems do they cause for you?
well, it's I think any no matter who you play, it's the first game. So the problems will probably be more caused by ourselves than. Um, but they're athletic. They've got a new coach, so they'll shoot a lot of threes, play fast in transition. But this early in the year, you're more consumed with yourself and making sure that everybody's on the same page, which for us, we've got a really good team. So I'm excited to get going and watch them play tomorrow.
Coach, I've been following Wisconsin for a very, very long time. When I was with All Ohio, we sent a lot of players to Wisconsin, and you've been there for 8 years. I remember when you first came in, and you've kept it going. You've built a good program. Over your 8 years, you're 164 and 94, which is a great record. Um, Last year, you guys finished 20 and 15 overall, 9-11 in the Big Ten. You made the NIT and you lost by 2 points to North Texas. I believe it was the semis. Am I correct, Coach?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you've done a great job over there. What do you take from a 20 and 15 season, which is still a winning season, but 9 and 11 in the Big Ten, which is not a typical Wisconsin type of year? So what do you take from last year moving on to this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we had everybody back off last year's team. So we were younger than normal, and our better teams have always been senior dominant or had older guys. And for the first time in a long time, we didn't have anybody graduate and walk out the door. So for us to have a lot, all these guys back and then add to it with what we've added via the portal and also with the freshman class, I think gives us a chance to really, in today's world, with all the transferring going on, if you can retain your roster and keep it together and grow it and develop it, it gives you a chance to compete as they get older and grow through your program. So that's the biggest thing. And obviously 20 wins is good at most places. It's not the standard here. We had won two of the last three Big Ten championships in 2020 and 2022. So for us, it's to play at a high level and to chase championships. And by and large, we've done that. So hopefully we're back in that lane this year.
Wisconsin has a certain style of basketball um, that you guys play, and I love the way you play. To be honest with you, very physical style of basketball. You have shooters. I love the way you guys play. Um, you look for certain type of players. Talk about Wisconsin. If I'm looking to bring my son to Wisconsin, um, what is it about Wisconsin that will set you guys apart from some other schools?
Well, I think the physicality comes with our league. The Big Ten, with who we
Yes,
have to
yes.
compete against night in and night out. You have to be, if you want to stay in the upper echelon of the Big Ten. You have to play physical. I think we've always been pretty good at taking care of the ball. I think we've been first or second in the country in fewest turnovers the last 2 or 3 years. So that's always a thing that gives you a chance to compete night in and night out when shots don't go down defensively, be able to be really solid, and take care of the ball and rebound. And those things you change a little bit. You change offensively as players change. I think you morph to what your strengths are, but defensively and what we do on the glass and the valuing of the basketball, I think, are something that are mainstays and are non-negotiables. So, and you morph and adjust to based what your offensive talent is, and find your best players and make sure they get put in their best spots.
Coach, let's talk about this team this year. You said you had everybody back. Um, I you know, let's talk about your starters. I don't know who they are. I just did some homework, but I what I looked at was guys that looked at minutes and things like that. Um, Chucky Hepburn,
Right.
6'2" guard. You want to talk about them as I say their name?
Yeah, I mean, Chucky's started since he was a freshman for me. He helped. He was on that 2022 Big Ten championship team as a freshman. So he's evolved. Now that he's an upperclassman. It gives him a chance to really have the keys to the car, so to speak, and drive us on both ends of the court because he's a really good defensive player. He's tough. He's physical. He's strong. He's actually reshaped his body. He's dropped some weight and really leaned up, so he's playing a little faster than what he did. But I'm looking for a big year out of Chucky. I think he'll definitely, now that he's an upperclassman, so to speak. It's his time to really be consistent and help lead this team.
Yeah, I had read that coach that he had lost about 18 pounds or something,
Yeah,
somewhere
I
around
need
there.
to do
Yeah,
that too. I need to do that.
Yeah, me too, coach. So, I mean, I don't know if I need to lose that many, but I need to lose a few, you know.
Right.
But Max, is it
Klesmit, yeah.
Cleesmith? Klesmit,
Klesmit, yeah.
6'4".
Yeah. Yeah. Transfer from Wofford. A tough nose from the state of Wisconsin. So for him coming back home a year ago was what he wanted to do. And really, I think last year was an adjustment for him to not only from the transfer standpoint from Wofford, but stepping up a level in our league. I think really proving to himself that he belonged to this level. And he really played well down the stretch. He's very typical of the two guards we've had in the past that do a lot of things that involve that contribute to winning, and maybe always the things that don't show up on a stat sheet. So for him, the toughness, the ability to play off the ball. I'll play him a little bit at backup point guard at times. Um, but I think just the intangibles he brings and the leadership, that now that he's been here a year, he played 2 years at Wofford and now he's in year four of college. I think just having that voice and helping with our upperclassmen lead this group, and he's done a really good job of improving, and I think I see the comfort level now in his voice to help lead us.
AJ Store, 6'7".
Yeah, AJ's just transferred from St. John's, originally from Rockford, Illinois, right down the road here from Madison. And obviously, with the coaching change last spring and at St. John's, wanted to get a fresh start. And coming back closer to home for him was big. And just athletically brings something to the table that we haven't had in abundance all the time. Just can get out and make plays. Is physical, can play above the rim, and still learning. I think who we are and system change has been an adjustment for him, but really been coachable. It has the physical tools to make an impact for us, really on both ends. I think the offensive end is what everybody talks about, but I think he can be a really high level defender too as he gets more and more accustomed to the hows and whys of what we do defensively.
Tyler Wall, 6'9".
Yeah, Tyler's coming back for his COVID year. This is his fifth year. Had gotten off to a terrific start last year and was really playing well and got hurt right in early January and was never the same. And he was our go-to guy at that point in time, was leading us in about every category. And he missed, I think, 4 games, but was never back to the same. And we were never the same team. We were 11-2, I think ranked 13th in the country and really playing really well, and he goes down for a segment of time, and we were never able to get back on track after that. So for him, come back for a fifth year, and that's one of the things about retention that I mentioned at the outset, to have him choose to come back here and to want to finish out his career. He has a chance to be the only Wisconsin Badger in program history to win 3 Big Ten championships during his career. So he's already been here for 2 of them, and that was one of the main, I think, driving forces behind his return. Was I have a chance to do something here that no other player in program history has done. So he's healthy now, he's bigger, stronger, which makes all the difference in the world for how he plays. But kind of a point forward, you know, good athlete, good ball handler, terrific defender. So really a glue to what we do, and looking forward for him to have a really good senior year.
And then we keep going up, and then you got Stephen Crawl, 7 foot center.
Yep. Yeah, Steve's a junior right now, or I guess actually he's in his fourth year, but he'll have a fifth year next year. Just one of those guys that's improved. You know, we've had a long lineage of bigs that have grown and improved through their careers here, and he's another one. 7 feet, 250 now. I think exceptional passer, really has a good feel for the game, and then is now becoming a physical force in the paint. You know, really skilled with both hands, can shoot the three pretty well. Numbers need to improve this year, and I think much like Hepburn, watching him become a consistent player at a high level, I think he has the potential to be an all-conference player, but he's got to put it together, you know, for 5 months. So that's the challenge with Steve: is can you perform at what your potential is or what your ability is for the course of a long season? And I know he's, like I said, strength wise, weight wise, has gotten himself where he's going to be, you know, one of the better frontline guys in the Big Ten.
You know, you've got a guy uh, averaged 11 points a game last year as a freshman, Connor.
Yeah,
I know
Connor Sejan.
You're expecting big things. I mean, 11 points a game as a freshman in the Big Ten is not bad, Coach.
Yeah, yeah. Connor had a lot thrown at him, you know, as a freshman, and kind of threw him to the fire, and he did really well. He had a really good freshman year, as the numbers indicate. But for him to take another step, I think he realized in the offseason to get his body better, to get stronger. I'm not sure he had spent a lot of time in the weight room when he was in high school. So understanding that, just all the
He's
things
not the
that
only
you
one,
learn.
though.
Yeah, I know. And just how the experience, I've always said the experience is the best teacher. So for him to, even though he had a lot of success as a freshman, there were days he wasn't successful and he got knocked around a little bit. So for him to physically be at another level, and for it, I think also it's a great weapon for our team at this point in time. He's coming off the bench, so you bring a guy that can score like he can and shoot it off the bench. I think it just makes our team that much better. Anytime you can bring scoring off the bench. The really good teams I've been a part of, we've always had something like that, some arsenal, some firepower off the bench that can score.
You've got another freshman, 6'11", Nolan Winter.
Yeah.
You keep a bunch of big guys over there, don't you?
Well, Nolan's been one that has really, we recruited him really hard with the idea that we thought in time he could be a really good player, and the time the time has come faster than we thought it would. I mean, he's really been impressive with how he's approached the summer, the fall, how he's played here through, you know, preseason camp, and just, you know, he's got to get stronger, and he'll have to, he will. But man, he plays with an edge to him that you like big guys to have. He's a little mean, and 6'11", he can move, and I mean, shot blocker, shoots threes. You know, great feel for the game. Really, I can play him and Crowell together, so I can put two
Wow.
6'11", 7-footers out there together, because Nolan can guard the more mobile guys, and that was one thing we weren't sure of, you know, when he first got here. But we've watched him over the last, you know, since June, and just how he's just soaked things up and keeps getting better and better every day. And he'll go through some freshman bumps, there's no doubt. But man, I love how he competes, and at his size with his skill set, it's a pretty unique combination.
What can people look for when they watch a Wisconsin Badger basketball team in the Big Ten this year? What type of team will we see?
Yeah, I think depth is one thing. Hopefully, you're going to see. We're deeper and bigger than we've been in a while. I think the experience, you know, will show. You know, we're going to play with a good pace. I think being efficient. Everybody gets caught up in tempo and pace of play, and but it's really the efficiency. You know, it's the points per possession. I mean, our 2015 team that lost in the national championship game, went 36-4, had played at one of the slowest paces in the country, and still is, you know, they were in the 360s, but they've set the all-time record in efficiency on points per possession at 1.29. So it's the pace. If you can get extra possessions, great. But it's what you do with those possessions and the efficiency that you have to play with, and especially at our level in our league, I don't know if you golf at all, Coach Howard. Do you golf
I
at
mess
all?
around. I mess
Mess
around.
around. You know what a mulligan is, then, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So I tell our players, you don't get many mulligans or any when you get to the really high level of competition that we're going to see. So we have to be really good on every possession. And if it comes in the first 5 seconds, great. If it has to come in the last 5 seconds, so be it. Let's get the best shot for Wisconsin. So hopefully you see a really unselfish, tough-nosed team that enjoys playing with each other and represents our school and our league really well.
Well, Coach, I'm going to try to get down there sometime. Wisconsin is not right, kind of like right around the corner from me, but I'm going to try to get down there. But I just recently, I've heard some very, very, very good things about Wisconsin. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to.
it's a really neat place. So you're welcome to stop in anytime you want.
Thank you, but I will see you when you come this way now.
All
I
right.
will see you when you come this way. Coach, thank you very, very much for coming on. I appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, getting ready for your season starting tomorrow. I wish you good luck on your season, and anything that I can do to help you, let me know.
Sounds good. Thanks, Coach. Talk to
Talk
you soon.
talk to you soon. Good luck.
Take care. Thanks.
That was Coach Guard. Hey, listen, he runs a top-notch program over there at Wisconsin. And I'm really thankful that he came on the show uh, uh, and took time out of his busy schedule. You know, Sometimes I feel so blessed to know, college coaches throughout the country, to be able to call them and ask them to come on my show, or to receive calls from them, talk about players, or to call them and talk about players, which I do every day of my life. I don't think there's a day go by in my life that I don't talk to college coaches. So I'm just blessed, but I've paid my dues, 41 years of them. So, hey, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we've got Coach Wes Miller standing by, and I'm excited to talk to my guy. Be right back. Well, I'm back. I'm excited about my next guest and good friend of mine right down the road. I've got a son that goes there. He's excited about what's about to take place. Coach Miller from University of Cincinnati. My guy. What's going on, Coach?
Hey George, how you doing? Really appreciate you having me on.
You look like you're outside, man.
Man, I'm sitting out. I got a little area with the television, and it's not too cold in Ohio yet, so I sit out here and watch practice. And we have our first game tomorrow, so I've just kind of been sitting out here watching practice from today and getting ready for that game.
Just relaxing, huh?
So this is my calm place because the practice court's not calm. So
I know that's right. I know that's right. Like we say, just chilling. Just taking it easy because
that's right.
this ain't gonna be too many more of these nights starting tomorrow that you're gonna be able to
ain't,
just take it easy.
ain't that
Hey,
the truth?
I'm excited about Cincinnati basketball, and I was telling everyone watching the show that this is your second year, correct?
This will going into my third.
Third year, and you are building something special at the University of Cincinnati, and I see it. I think people will see it. Uh, Talk about last year, what you look to build on from last year moving into this year.
First off, I thought I thought we got better as the year went on last year. We lost a kid named John Newman to an injury the first week of games, and he had been a starter with us the year before. Uh, One of the better defensive players in the country at his position, but leader, winner, and we lost him, and it took us a little time. It took us maybe 5 or 6 weeks to kind of reinvent our team after we lost John, and we ended up kind of salvaging the year and having a good year. Made a little run in the NIT, and we were fortunate going into this offseason to retain some of those important guys. We've added guys. We've added a couple young freshmen that I think are going to be terrific players. We got some guys in the transfer portal, but then we retain guys that have helped us kind of build a foundation here. So a good mix of guys. We've had a good offseason. The biggest thing this year, well, there's two things right now. One, we're going into the Big 12. So making that jump from the American Conference to the Big 12 Conference, that's significant, Coach. I mean, there's no way around it. There were some great games in the American. It was a great competitive league, but it's like every night in the Big 12 is like a top 25 team. It feels like. So we've had an off season and recruiting and the work that we've been doing trying to get prepared for that. But I think that's going to really raise the level of our program here. No doubt about it.
I was just getting ready to ask you something in reference to that. Moving on to the Big 12, that has to help you in recruiting. It has to.
I think so. It's already helped us. I think. Listen, every kid wants to play in the best leagues, right? I mean, everybody wants to play on the biggest stage, and that's the Power Five leagues. So when I first got here, we found it interesting. I mean, kids wanted to be recruited by Cincinnati. And that speaks to what's happened before we got here, the success of this program, over many years. But when it came down to it, with a lot of the top kids, they just wanted to play in one of those Power Five conferences, and now we're not just going into one of those conferences. The Big 12, from a basketball standpoint, has been the best basketball league in America for the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's like statistically undeniable. So, I think it's really elevated our recruiting. Again, it's elevated the way we operate internally. It's been great in a lot of ways. It'll be a challenge this year, but I think over time it's gonna help elevate the program.
And you guys are doing some great things down there. They've put a lot of money into rebuilding some of the facilities and locker rooms and stuff like that. And you guys are doing a lot of great things down there. You're now Jordan brand now, so that's a big thing too as well. Um, and kids love Jordan. You know that. So those
Yeah.
little things people may not think it, but those little things help moving to the Big 12, coming to the Jordan brand. Those are things that kids really look at now, and it's really crazy that it's that way, but it's just that way. You know what I mean?
No question. The most important stuff is still the most important stuff. The way you carry yourself every day, the way you approach practice and the academic work, the product on the floor. That stuff, the stuff that matters is always number one. But we're trying to improve in every area, Coach, and we really are. I mean, the program is taking leaps. It seems like in so many different areas. Certainly, the ones that matter the most, we're doing that too. But I do think we're really on the rise. I think people that are around us feel that, and it's an exciting time to be a part of Cincinnati basketball for sure.
Well, I'm a big fan of you guys, and you guys, treat me very well. Talk about your team this year. Some of your top returning players, some of your top incoming players, your freshmen. So people out there that are watching, they know a little bit about Cincinnati basketball.
Yeah, I think it starts to me with our returning players. That continuity is so important to our program. I mentioned John Newman. He's like a fifth year senior. You know, got the extra year after the medical red shirt last year. He's a wing that I think will have a terrific year and has a lot of experience. Victor Locken and Odi Iguama are two front court players that we started a year ago. that give us some experience up front. Think they're terrific and will have good years. Um, we had a couple young guys in Dan Skillings and Josh Reed that were freshmen on the wing last year that we retained that we also think will have really good years as sophomores. And then we went to work in the recruiting in this class. And Rayvon Griffith, who's a hometown kid from Cincinnati, yeah, another guy on the perimeter on the wing. Jizzle James is one of the best point guards in his class, coming from Orlando, Florida. He's actually Edgerrin James' son. For those that remember, Edgerrin James was a running back for the Indianapolis Colts for all those years. He's a terrific young guard. We had our junior college transfer at point guard and Davion Thomas, that was a lot of people ranked the number one junior college guard in America. So we think we have some dynamic guards in that backcourt. And then we went to the transfer portal, coach, and tried to make sure we got some older guys and some experienced guys. And C.J. Frederick, who was at Iowa and Kentucky and is actually a Cincinnati kid as well, has had a lot of success on great teams. And Simas Lukosius played at Butler the last 2 years. Shot over about 40 from three, and he's had some success in some really big environments. And then we have two big kids, and I think they really are the key to our team in a lot of ways. One of them is Aziz Bandego, 7-footer, elite rim protector, big time talent, and then Jameel Reynolds, who's about 6'11" from Temple, another big time talent. And right now they're not cleared; that they're waiting on their waivers, and I think those two getting those waivers will have a lot to do with our ceiling as a team. We're going to be a good team because we have good players and kids that are bought in, but we really do need those two to get in to have a much higher ceiling.
Do you think that's going to happen, Coach?
You know what, Coach? I believe it should happen. I believe they're deserving. There's so much I've learned about this process over the last month, but when they decided to transfer, they had the guidelines the NCAA had laid out, and they felt they met those guidelines. We felt they met those guidelines when we recruited them, and now they're going through the appeal process. So I expect them to be cleared if the NCAA does the right thing. I they meet the guidelines that were laid out by the NCAA.
What happens if they don't? What happens if they don't?
We're going to kind of wait to hear that appeal decision this week, and then we'll kind of figure out what the best way to support those guys on our end.
Okay. When people are watching the University of Cincinnati this year, because I'm sure a lot of people down here follow you guys, and a lot of people will be watching. I'll be watching a lot. Matter of fact, I'm sure I'll be down there to games as well. What are they going to see? What style of play, and what are they going to see in a Cincinnati team?
Yeah, I think first it's always going to start with the defensive end of the court, Coach. I mean, we're gonna defend. We're gonna value that end of the floor, and we're gonna do that with some edge, right, and some competitive nature. We're gonna be aggressive defensively in the half court. We're gonna try to extend that pressure in the full court. And the second thing I'd say is rebounding. I mean, we want to control the offensive board. We want to control the defensive board. And I think one of the reasons, Coach, I wanted to take this job a couple years ago is because, that's how I've always wanted to coach the game in the time I've been a head coach. And some of those basic values really resonate with what Cincinnati basketball has been about for a really long time. Now, offensively, we want to play with great pace. Like we're going to push the ball up the floor and, try to get our athletes in the open court where they can make plays before the defense gets set. I feel like a lot of coaches talk about that in recruiting, but not all play that way. And we really do play that way. We play fast and we get up and down. And certainly, like most teams, we play a modern style of basketball in the half court. We spread the floor, we set a ton of ball screens, and we kind of let guys play in space.
So we'll look for an exciting team down at UC this year, huh?
Yeah. So you got to come check us out, Coach.
You already know. I'll be down there. I was looking at your schedule today. I'll be down there real soon. I've got some of my guys down there that goes to couple of high schools down there, so we'll be coming down. I'm trying to do a weekend visit down there where I can see you guys and see our guys from our program. I tell you, talk about uh, your freshman from Cincinnati. How's he coming along right now, Coach? Everybody throughout the state knows him, has seen him play. We know he has a lot of talent, but sometimes when you get to the college game, it's totally, totally different than a high school game. It takes him a little bit longer. How's he coming along?
Well, I think you just said it. I mean, the one thing that I've been really impressed with Rayvon is his work ethic every day. I mean, he's a Cincinnati kid. He's got Cincinnati edge. He comes in the gym, competes every day. He's one of these guys that doesn't act like a freshman. Like sometimes you have to teach freshmen, how to approach it to the standard, right? That we expect every day to get in early and prepare for practice, to stay later and work on your skill. Here we have a lot of guys that get shots in the mornings with our grad assistants or with our assistant coaches, and then we practice in the afternoons. You know, he's jumped right into that, and he hasn't acted like a freshman. His work ethic has been really admirable. His competitive edge has been admirable. But like most freshmen, there's been some adjustment, right? I mean, the speed of the game, some of the fundamentals of the game. He's got some work to do there. He's working at it every day, and he's going to have a terrific career here. Like, there's no doubt about that. But going through that same adjustment that a lot of freshmen go through, but the stuff that I think really matters and that projects over a long period of time, he's going to be terrific here.
Coach, thank you very much for coming on my show. One last question. If I've got a son that is interested in coming to University of Cincinnati, and what would you say? Why should my son come to the University of Cincinnati? Because I know there's some
Well,
players out there watching right now.
Well, the first thing I'd say is you got a son that goes to Cincinnati, so you obviously think a lot of the institution if you let your son come here. So the school part and the city and the community, you obviously believe a lot in that. So I don't have to even sell that part. Uh,
No,
but the
my
the,
son
the
is
what
already there though.
yeah, what I would say if we were recruiting him to our basketball program, I'd say a couple things. The first I'd say is that we have three goals here. One is to win championships at the highest possible level. We're going to work towards that every day. The second is to help our guys. We do everything we can to help our guys become professionals, professional basketball players, and to give them the best opportunity that this isn't the end game for them as a basketball player, that there's something much bigger after they leave Cincinnati, you hope. And the third thing, and this is the most important one, is that we want our players to get a real education, and we think the University of Cincinnati provides that. We think that the role that we have day to day coaching and mentoring is a part of that education. Obviously, that degree and the things they do in the classroom matters, but being in our program is also part of getting an education and growing up and being prepared for life after college and life after basketball. So you're going to get those three things every day. I'd say that we're going to work really dang hard. We're going to care really hard. We're going to be really, really demanding on the court, but we're going to love you really darn hard too and take care of you. We're not for everybody, coach. So I'd make it very clear that the way we go about it isn't for everybody. But if you value the same things we value, this could be a heck of a fit. So that'd be a little bit of it. Certainly, we get into more depth, but I ain't doing all that on in front of the whole world. I'm gonna do that face to face and man to man in my office.
Hey, but you do a great job of it, Coach, and you guys down there are. I know you're building something. I tell people all the time, Coach, they're building something special down there at UC. I'm a fan, so you ain't got to sell me, um, and I already am a fan. So I know
Well,
what UC is all about. I love the University of Cincinnati. My son loves it. My wife loves it. So they're doing great things with my son down there, and he's going to become a doctor out of the University of Cincinnati,
there we
and I'm
go.
loving it.
I love that.
That's what I'm
Well,
talking about, Coach.
well, coach, you you've been good to me since the minute I got to Ohio. I was a Southerner that hadn't spent a lot of time in the Midwest, and now I'm from here now, so I'm a Midwest guy now. But you welcomed me with open arms day one, and I really appreciate our friendship.
Hey, I appreciate it too, man. And you got to make sure that you tell my number one guy, Dre, Coach Morgan, that I said hello. He takes care of you, Coach, man. He makes sure that you have
He's
everything, and he's on
hey,
top of it.
I got an unbelievable staff. He's a big part of that staff. He's family, so I'll tell him you said hello. He'll be calling and checking in later because he does it every night.
I'm sure he will. Coach, thank you very much for taking your time out, getting ready for your season. Of course, I will hit you up mid-season on my mid-season show. And congratulations. I'll talk to you soon. And I look forward to seeing you when I come down there, and I'll be down there soon. Thank you very much,
Sound,
Coach.
sounds great, Coach. We'll see you in Cincinnati.
Talk to you soon. That was Coach Miller, man. That's my guy, man. I met him when he first came down there. They reached out um, and wanted to uh, meet the who's who of basketball here in the state, and they reached out to me, and we've developed a great relationship. Relationships is everything, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I'm going to take a 1 minute break, and then we've got Coach Senderhoff here from Kent State University. That's another one of my guys. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Just talking to my wife. She's upstairs. I'm downstairs. But anyway, uh, Coach Cindy, how you doing, man? Where you at?
I'm
There
in my
he is,
office.
my man.
Good, good to see you, man.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
Getting ready for the year, man. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. It's good to
Hey,
see you.
you good to see you always, man. We go so far back. You guys kick it off tomorrow, or when you kick it off?
Yeah, we play tomorrow night. We play a non-division one to start the season at home, and then have two more games this week against James Madison and Fresno State later this week.
At home?
All at home. Yep, yep. Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So 3 straight at home to start the season.
Who you got tomorrow?
Tomorrow we play Malone University, Division II school, uh, in Ohio.
Yeah, that's my guy down there. Hey, Coach. Last year you guys went great season. You guys had last year. You've built since you've been at Kent State. You have built an incredible program at Kent State. You do such a great job of recruiting with the young guys. Um, you guys went 28-7 last year overall, and you went 15-3 in the conference, and still didn't finish first, right?
Yep, yep. We were
And
second regular
and
season.
yeah. Um, talk about your year last year and how you can take from last year to bring it over to help you for this year, even though it's a new year.
Yeah, well, the last couple of years we've had two guards that have played here for the last one of them for 3 years, one of them for 2 years, that have been amongst the best, not just in our league but in the country.
Hmm.
Certainly defensively, and they've over the last 2 years in league have been to the conference championship game both times. The last 2 seasons, won it obviously last year. I think 31-7 in league play over the last 2 years. So we're replacing two generational players, but their competitiveness, especially on the defensive end and defensive mindset, is something that we're trying to carry over into this year's team. And really, that's sort of how we play just try to be gritty and tough and competitive all the time. And those two really epitomize that. And hopefully, hopefully that wore off on a lot of these returning guys and the guys that we brought in, because that's been our blueprint for a long time now.
Uh, Talk about your returning starters from last year, and talk about your team. And then I want to ask you about a couple guys that's from right here in Central Ohio.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of those guys, Von Cameron Davis, he's been, he was a starter almost every game last year. Has been sort of the backbone of the program for a couple of years now. It really epitomizes everything that the program's about in terms of toughness, having just a will to win, and being incredibly competitive, um, and really hard nosed kid. So Vaughn is certainly one of the key players for our team this year. As I think back, as I'm talking to you now, with returning guys, Claron Hornbeek was a starter from Toledo. Vaughn was a starter from Columbus. We have a kid, Giovanni Santiago, who is a returning starter from Cincinnati. And then the sixth man of the year in the league, Jalen Sullinger, also from Columbus. So really a lot of Ohio. I know, obviously with the people that are probably listening to this, a lot of Ohio folks here. We have a great deal of our rosters from the state of Ohio, and guys that have developed and stayed here over time. Jalen's in his third year, like I said, returning sixth man of the year. He's our leading returning scorer off of last year's team. Jalen
Yes.
Sullinger, Von Cameron Davis, Mr. Basketball, uh, from Walnut Ridge, has started. He's got an incredible story because his freshman year was the COVID year here. He barely played. I remember our first game his sophomore year, we played at Xavier, and he checked in for 30 seconds in the game total. And then that year we're playing in the conference championship game, and he's starting, in the conference championship game. And then last year, similarly, a starter and a guy who can guard multiple
Wow.
positions. I know when we played Gonzaga last year, he's guarding Drew Timmy at the center spot for most of the game. And then there's games that he guards other teams two guards. So just a versatile player, a tough, hard nosed kid. And then Claron Hornbeek, again, as a freshman, barely played last year as a sophomore. I think he started every game as a sophomore and is a returning, junior here right now who is continuing to get better and better. So, I think the vast majority of my team, we do have some transfers obviously sprinkled in, but the vast majority of my team has been guys that have been here for a number of years and worked to get better and better, and sort of know the formula for how we do things here at Kent, and have bought into that development.
And that says something for it. That says something really because you look at Von Cameron and what he went through the first year. Nowadays a lot of guys who was who he was in high school here, and then you come down there and don't hardly play. What do? They jump up and they say, "Okay, I'm getting out of here. I'm going into the port, or I'm going somewhere else." Which the grass is not always greener on the other side, as I'm sure you know. But he stuck with you. The gentleman that didn't play, the other gentleman that you just talked about that didn't play that much as a freshman, played a lot for you last year as a sophomore. These are guys that staying hanging in there with you, that staying with you because there's something that you guys are doing down at Kent State is special. When you talk about Sullinger, we all know the Sullinger name here throughout the state and in Central Ohio, that I know very well. When you talk about gritty, when you talk about tough, when you talk about a kid that just knows how to play basketball, and that's your little point guard, and Sully, so you guys are really doing something special over there. And uh, what about you? Got a freshman too? That's right. You got a freshman from Central Ohio,
Two,
Donovan.
yeah, two freshmen from Ohio, Donovan Hunter, he's actually
Yeah.
going to redshirt this year. He and I decided on that. He decided on it, but through our conversations, he's going to redshirt this year. And then L.A. Hayes, who is from Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary's
Yep.
High School,
L.A. Yep. Yep.
here as well. So you know the cool thing about Kent, since COVID, and Vaughn is the first player. Vaughn, came during that COVID year. We have not had a freshman leave our program since that time. So I
Wow.
think we've brought in 8 or 9 freshmen, and all of them have stayed here. Whether they've had tremendous success or taken some time to develop. Uh, and I think that's important nowadays because, again, the portal can hit everyone, and it can hit you for better or worse. But I do think there is a level, for our program, having continuity, having the atmosphere that we have here at Kent, um, seeing guys develop and be able to show that to the young guys, and how guys overcome some adversity during their time here, and then are able to have tremendous success. It's been a big part of what we've done.
The portal, I'm not a big fan of the portal because I know the percentage of kids that jump into the portal, coach, that end up not even playing anymore, whether it's football or basketball. I talk to a lot of coaches that give me numbers, and it's crazy how kids can jump in the portal. They don't go back to the school where they were, and then because they didn't play much, and then now there's nobody really picking them up in the portal, and now they're lost, and there's just nowhere for them to go. Um, but the portal helps a lot of schools. A lot of schools really dig into the portal. Um, have you do you use the portal quite a bit there at Kent State, and what has it done for you?
Yeah, this year we brought 2 transfers in. A kid who played in our league, as actually was the freshman of the year in our conference.
Wow.
Reggie Bass, he's from Muncie, Indiana, was at Central Michigan, and he transferred here. And then a kid from Central Florida, Tyam Freeman, transferred here as well. So we've certainly, I think it's impossible to not have any, guys from the portal come into your program, or, almost impossible for no one to leave your program. I mean, it's just the nature of how this is right now. My hope would be that, we generally try to sign high school kids, and guys develop and stay with us. And then if there's a need, again, I mentioned that we graduated 2 tremendous players in the backcourt for us. So, the thought was that we're not going to try to take 2 kids from the portal in the backcourt while graduating 2. We'll take 1 and watch some of these guys get better and develop, and give them opportunities to do that. But uh, coming off the season we had, we need to have some experience back there, and then bringing in a kid like Reggie Baz, who's proven in this league, um, and saw the success that our guards have had here, to be able to bring him in was a no brainer, and he's done a great job, you know, getting acclimated to how we do things here, um, and also being a great teammate with his team. So, I think the portal works. It can work for you. It can work against you. I just think at the end of the
Yes.
day, you try to coach your players the best way you can. You try to give the best experience that you can at Kent State possible. And if guys are going to leave because they feel there's something better, or feel they need to get a change, then you wish them well, and you figure things out from there. But we're going to continue to try to recruit high school kids as much as we can, and certainly the state of Ohio has been really, really good to us.
Well, you've been good to the state of Ohio too, Coach, and everybody knows your track record and knows what you do. And I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, and I really appreciate you. You're always there when I call, and I appreciate that. People that are two more questions for you. People that are watching that will be following Kent State. It's easy to watch Kent State. You're on ESPN Plus all the time. Um, what are they going to see in a Kent State basketball team this year?
Yeah, I hope every year, that when you leave watching us play, that you feel like we play really, really hard. I mean, that to me is that's one of the things that's a non-negotiable for me is you got to compete, you got to play hard, and there's a difference, like competing is just is another level of what you got to do. So I hope that people when they leave would say, boy, those guys really competed, and that I hope that they'd say that the team really cared about each other, that you watch guys that cheer for each other, and want to see each other have success, because those to me are the things that you know sometimes our shot selection may not be great, or the prettiness of how we play not be great, or certainly the coaching sometimes may not be great, but I hope you see competitive, tough, hard-nosed guys playing for each other, and that's really what my coaching style and what I try to coach these guys to be. um, I pick on more things on the bench, with guys not cheering or getting up for each other than sometimes I do whether a guy takes what some may say is a good shot or a bad shot. I want guys to play freely, but to really, really care and to play hard for each other. So that's really what we coach daily here at Kent.
Coach, I am so big on what you just said. I see a lot of teams, whether it's AAU, high school, where the guys are sitting on the bench. I don't care how the game is going, they don't cheer on their teammates, and that bothers me. I do not like that.
Yeah, that
Uh,
bothers. They
we
they
will
won't.
not.
Those guys. Yeah, those guys. I can't deal with that. That I can't deal with.
Yeah, because it's attitude and um, you know, team and family is big with me. And being over at Phenoms, that's one of the things that Daryl, myself, and we talk about. We're going to be a family, and our guys are going to support one another. That's something we're going to demand. There's no other way about it. But I'm glad you said that because that's very, very important when you have teammates sitting on a bench and they're cheering on their teammates because it doesn't matter what the fans are doing. Yeah, the fans are going to cheer you on, but if you see your brothers on that sideline and they've got your back and they're cheering for you, that means something to them guys on the floors because you guys are a family and those it's a brotherhood, and I'm big on that. And I'm glad that you brought that up for people watching. The other thing, coach, is if I'm a player, and I'm watching you right now, um, and I'm wondering, thinking about coming to Kent State, or I'm interested in Kent State, or I'm a parent thinking about it. Why should a kid or a parent? Why should a kid want to come there and a parent want to send their kid to play for Coach Rob Cinderhoff and Kent State?
Yeah, there's a couple things, but I think the things that we really hit on a lot is one, the development piece. We see guys get better that are here, guys that stay in the program, grow and develop, and then ultimately a lot of them have had an opportunity to go play after college because of the success that our teams had and because of the success that they've had over the course of their careers. Second is the graduation piece. I've been here 12 years. I think it's 49 out of 50 players have graduated that have finished playing for
Wow.
us. So that's a big one. And then three, you touched on it in talking about brotherhood and family. And obviously, that's something that every coach preaches. And it's something that's there's no program that doesn't say that's important. But at Kent, again, I've been here 12 years as a head coach. I've been here 19 years overall. My three assistants all played here at Kent. Associate head coach Jules played here at Kent. Coach Holt, who played for you back when he
Yes.
was in high school. John Fleming played
Yes.
here at Kent. I've known Randall, Coach Holt, over half his life. Coach Jules over half his life, and Coach Fleming not quite that long because he's a little bit younger than those guys. I think the family that you get when you're here, former players are back here during the summer. We have a kid who he's from Brooklyn, New York. When he comes home, he's playing overseas. When he comes home, he comes to Kent, Ohio during the summer. Like, he doesn't go to Brooklyn. He comes back to Kent. Uh,
Wow.
Sincere Carey, who is now playing in the G League, he spent his season ended last year, and he spent the whole summer here working out, training, and as he's getting ready for the G League, because he didn't want to go overseas, he wanted to go and play in the G League. Like, he spent the month of September here in our gym. Every night he's in here. So when you leave Kent, you know, hopefully you're going to have a great experience. You're going to get your degree. You're going to see yourself get better, and you're going to have a family for forever. And that's really what we talk about here, as much as anything. And in doing that, we've won a lot of games. We've had a lot of success because guys have bought into that, and it is bigger than yourself. And if you wanted it to just be about yourself, you should play golf or tennis, because there it's just about yourself. But when you're playing basketball, you got to have a family, you got to have a team, and you got to have that brotherhood, which is what Kent has been about for a long time.
And I think, Coach, that's why, I do what I do, first of all, because this is what the Lord has me to do. But I've been doing this for 41 years now. And, with kids, with me, it's not just about basketball. Basketball second. It's about them and their lives. And it's about, and I see the same thing with you and what you do with your guys, and that means a lot. That means a lot, and that's the kind of place where I would want my son to go, to play for someone like yourself. Because with me, I care so much about kids. It's like I call kids all the time and I talk to them about, just life, not just basketball. It's just life, because at the end of the day, you know, if a kid playing for you and he messes up his knee and he can never play no more, you're still going to have that relationship with him for the rest of his life. He still
Yeah.
has to move on with life, has to get a job, has to work, take care of family, whatever. So that is big time, coach. I think that means a lot to anybody that's watching. And that's the kind of person they want their coach to play for. Coach, thank you very much. I know you're excited about the season. Um, and the MAC is always a very competitive conference. Um, I think it's
Great
going to
league
come
with a
down to,
lot of
yes,
yeah, a lot of coaches, a lot of good coaches, and a lot of good programs.
yes. And I know 95% of the coaches, and they're all good people. So I'm excited about watching you guys. I may come down to a game or two. I know I'm welcome. And I appreciate you, Coach. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the show tonight.
All right, and thank you for inviting me, George. I appreciate you doing that. Means a lot, and
Tell the guy,
so
tell the
it's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
my guy. Tell the guys I said what's up, man.
Will do. Thanks, George.
All right, thank you. That was Coach Cinderoff. That's my guy. I mean, I've been knowing him for so long. Um, he's always there when I need him. All of them are. And I'm just so thankful to be able to reach out to coaches, to talk to coaches, to have those relationships, to build relationships. Um, it's just truly a blessing. And I'm so thankful for that. Um, And, I love being able to help young men get offers to college, talk to college coaches. I'm so honored to be able to help guide them through their recruiting processes and just help them along the way, whether they play in my program or not. If I can help them, I will. Uh, but I really, really am thankful for that, and I love building relationships with the parents because if I know how it is. I have kids. I have had raised kids. Um, and I know how it is to have my kid playing for a coach that I want to trust, that my kid is going to be around, and I want to have those relationships with these parents and let them know that they're in good hands. Uh, Being around myself, um, our coaches, and DP Weave um, and Dave. So that's very important. It's been a great show. Um, and I thank everybody for coming in. Don't forget, it's Football Friday. And thank you, baby. But the show is about over now. So I asked my wife to bring me something to drink 2 hours ago. But thank you for the thought, honey. So thank you very much. Don't forget, in 2 weeks will be the preseason Central Ohio um, show, and I'm excited about that. Also, the Coach Howard Show is going to be live during the Michigan Ohio State game downtown Columbus. More details are coming up, and we're excited about that. We're going to be live downtown Columbus. I'll let you know more about that during the Ohio State Michigan game. We'll have plenty of guests that's going to be there. It's going to be very, very exciting. Thank you very much. Remember, tell someone you love them because those 3 words could make somebody's day. God bless you. I love you, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Peace.